Do you often feel like you are being scammed on trade? Maybe you're afraid game is going to get much harder if you get your hands on some high-tech items you shouldn't yet supposed to have. Or it simply doesn't make sense to you how Orbital Trade Beacon and Comms Console work. In this video, I'll be addressing these and many other problems and misconceptions regarding trade. So, let's get to it. First off, right off the bat, it shouldn't bother you that you are getting scammed little by little every time you trade. Many people tend to avoid trading altogether because items those traders are selling always feel overpriced. Well, they are, but that's a good thing, and let me tell you why. One of many perks of trading is its influence on the game space. In RimWorld, there are three things that affect the difficulty of threats and events like raids or manhunting packs. These are in standard vanilla: colony wealth, which includes everything on your colony map, pawn wealth, their gear, prosthetics, etc., and number of colonies, of course. That's why trading often is not a problem. As long as you trade things you don't need for things that actually improve your colony, you will usually decrease your wealth and slow down threat scaling while getting stronger at the same time. Another thing that is great about trading is that it gives you opportunity to get some items that are locked behind research tree for a long time. Think of it this way. Say you have 3 pawns that are ferocious hunters. They kill everything on the map in order to get your colony food. Meat gets consumed, so it's wealth that's going to be eaten anyway, but you also get some pelts and wool that is far too much to be used by your colony alone. That stockpile is effectively a burden to your colony. It does you no good, because you can't use all of it, and yet it boosts your wealth, telling the storyteller, "This guy is bloated, he needs to get punished." However, if you trade those items for something like assault rifle or marine armor you haven't even researched yet, well, that's a different story, isn't it? To add to that, there are few things that will always be true. You are never going to find use for this stack of 10,000 muffle wool, and you can never have enough components. You see what I'm getting at? There are categories of things that are almost always worth buying. Components, especially advanced ones, or items you can't produce but are very useful, like anti-grain shells, psychic lenses, reinforced barrels, or neutroamine. So, pay attention and choose wisely what you stack. This advice alone makes this game so much easier. And guns, yeah, think of them as weaponized silver. This is the wealth that protects itself. If you can get your hands on masterwork or legendary assault rifles, SMGs, LMGs, do so. It makes a world of difference. And don't send away those early game traders. Always check what they have in stock. It can be super useful, especially early on. We have already touched on the topic of wealth and why hoarding useless items isn't good for you. As I mentioned before, trading will make you lose some wealth, but it's not a huge amount. One of the best ways to get rid of a lot of wealth quickly is by gifting items to passing caravans. You both get rid of some wealth, you free up space in your storage room, and you gain goodwill, which can be exchanged for reinforcements during raids or calling a caravan to your colony. It's a great mechanic and you totally should make use of it. Another great method for bribing is by using transport pod. You simply make few of these, then pack them with some stuff you have abundance of, and then simply send it to that other colony you wish to bribe. And just like that, it's done. It's not that expensive to build, and this way you don't have to wait for passing caravans. Now, let's talk about Comms Console. It is very convenient and important structure, however it's a little bit confusing at first. Comms building itself, with its satellites dishes, looks like it should stand outside, right? Wrong. It belongs inside, covered by the roof. Well, how about those little orbital trade beacons? Do they go outside or inside? The answer is yes. You see, this is the most confusing thing about orbital trading, but let me simplify it for you. These beacons have two purposes. One, they scan your surroundings in radius shown while placing them. Everything it sees will be visible to Orbital Trader. However, in order to receive payment, the beacon must be outside. Well, technically at least partially unroofed. So, what is the solution, you may ask? The answer is simple. You can and should make multiple trade beacons, and they will all work at the same time. Usually, you should have one in storage room, one in your pantry or freezer, and one outside to make receiving payment possible. You don't, however, need any trade beacons for your pen animals or other animals. Orbital traders always see your animals in your pen and other animals that are, for example, following your pawns. For some reason, game never explains it, so here you go. No more weird contraptions or partially unroofed storage rooms. If you wonder how often other colonies restock their stuff, it's 30 days. But you don't have to keep track. There's a neat way to check it. If you click a colony on a world map and then click this button, show what trader will buy, at the top you will have one of these notifications. X days to restock, or restocked since last visit, or never visited. Waiting on traders to show up is RNG, so if you are in dire need of specific items and you need them fast, there are two ways to go about it. First, the most reliable one, is to send your own caravan. This, however, usually calls for some pack animals that can carry the load and takes time and also pawns away from your colony. Quick note here. The moment this caravan leaves your colony, your wealth is decreased by the sum of wealth of pawns and animals, and of course items in the caravan. So technically any raid that will happen during the time your caravan is on the world map could be a little bit smaller. Second way is to call a friendly faction on the comms console to send a caravan to you, in exchange for some goodwill. Which is convenient, but both variety and quantity of items will be limited. They also don't carry as much silver. These were my tips for you today. I know there are plenty other great tips for trading out there. Please share yours in the comments. I hope you'll find those tips useful. Thank you for watching and see you again in next video.